Good day, everybody. It's Andrew here, and welcome back to my channel. We have a huge update for stimulus, specifically regarding seniors getting stimulus checks. Bernie Sanders continues to fight and just made a statement saying that we need to include more stimulus and we need to have more payments in this stimulus package. So let's discuss the details, but before we do, don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I also have a second channel, so do me a huge favor, click on the link that's in the description of this channel, subscribe to my second channel. I'm going to be giving away a stimulus check on that one, just as a thank you for supporting my work. And on that channel, we're going to have updates as well, but we're mainly going to focus on things like playing bingo, playing the lottery, playing casino games, things to kind of have fun and just hang out as a community, and mixing in some updates at the same time. So thank you so much for everyone who subscribed to that channel. I'm going to get videos going on that channel really shortly. Now, as for today's update, let's quickly back up to the last couple of days. First of all, President Biden announced a new framework for a deal on the next stimulus package. And in that framework, he cut out a lot of things. Now, what was still unclear was whether or not it was going to include stimulus checks for seniors. Because remember, Bernie Sanders wanted to include a stimulus check to help cover medical expenses for everyone on Social Security, SSI, and SSDI. Now, originally, this was supposed to be $1,000. Then we had a group come out and say, nope, we have to increase it to $1,400. Then President Biden came out and said, oh, it could actually be as low as $800. So the actual amount of this check was kind of up in the air, but we were hoping to get this stimulus check for seniors. Well, in the framework that President Biden announced, he didn't remove the stimulus check, but he also didn't explicitly say we have to include it, right? So then he gave the framework to the deal. Nancy Pelosi went to the House and said, all right, we got a framework. Now that we have a framework on this stimulus package, let's approve the physical stimulus plan. Because remember, Democrats are trying to get the physical stimulus plan and the American Family Stimulus Plan done at the exact same time. Now, it seems like they're not really calling it the American Family Stimulus Plan anymore. They're calling it the Build Back Better agenda. But you know what I'm talking about. It's the same thing here, right? They're trying to get both stimulus packages done at the exact same time. And remember, conservatives want the physical stimulus plan, but progressives were not allowing them to approve that until we first got the Build Back Better agenda done first, or at the exact same time, to try and get stimulus checks done for the American people. Well, yesterday Pelosi said, all right, we got a framework for the stimulus package, so now let's approve the physical stimulus plan. And don't worry, progressives, don't worry, Bernie Sanders, we'll get the stimulus package done shortly after. Well, the Progressive Caucus in the House came out and said, you know what? We are not going to vote to approve this physical stimulus plan, which conservatives want, unless the Senate, meaning Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, first vote to approve the American Family Stimulus Plan, aka the Build Back Better stimulus plan. That way we have a guarantee like, hey, we're getting the stimulus package done and we're getting stimulus checks for seniors done as well, because that is the main holdup. The House is most likely going to be able to approve the stimulus package. It's mainly the Senate because of Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. So progressives are telling Pelosi, first, approve the stimulus package in the Senate. That way we know it's done. Then we'll vote for the physical stimulus plan and the American Family Stimulus Plan basically at the exact same time. Because like we've been talking about for months, progressive Democrats are worried that once the physical stimulus plan is approved, moderates like Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema will have no reason to then vote for the stimulus package, if that kind of makes sense. We've been talking about this for months. It's kind of the same dynamic that's been happening for a couple of months. Well, Pelosi thought the fact that they had a framework and a kind of a verbal agreement like, hey, we'll approve this in the Senate, just go ahead and approve the physical stimulus package first. Pelosi thought that would be enough. Well, progressives came out and said, heck no. Because once we approve the physical stimulus plan, progressives are going to lose every bit of leverage they have on moderates to then have them vote for the stimulus plan to get stimulus checks done, if that kind of makes sense, right? So basically, they held off that vote on the physical stimulus plan because progressives said they would only do it if the Senate first approved the stimulus plan with stimulus checks. Well, Bernie Sanders came out after the framework was announced yesterday, and he was not happy. First of all, the Medicare expansion, Biden only wants to include hearing care now. He doesn't want to include vision or dental. Now, this is tied in with the $1,400 stimulus check for seniors because Bernie Sanders said that the stimulus check for seniors, was to help seniors cover medical expenses until Medicare was fully expanded. And I also want to point out that he said this would most likely be in a debit card that you could use anywhere Visa is accepted. So although he's kind of throwing it in there saying the reason is to pay for medical expenses, you could really use it anywhere that Visa is accepted, right? So a lot of people were asking about that, like, hey, am I getting a stimulus check, but I can only use it towards prescription drugs or like going to the doctor visits? I don't really like that stimulus check. I want to use it on whenever I want. So just to clarify, you should be able to use it wherever Visa is accepted. But basically, with Biden trimming down the Medicare expansion, you could look at that two ways in regards to stimulus checks. On the one hand, you could say, hey, if we're only expanding hearing care, not vision or dental, that's just another reason why seniors need a stimulus check, right? Because they need even more stimulus to help cover their medical expenses because Medicare is not going to be expanded to include vision and dental, right? Now, on the other hand, some people are saying the stimulus check for seniors was supposed to be specifically for dental coverage expansion because experts said that expansion could take years. So the stimulus check was to help you pay for your dental coverage in the meantime until the dental coverage was fully implemented, right? So some people are saying if you're not going to include dental coverage, you don't even need to include the stimulus check, right? But obviously, I don't agree with that. And I really don't think Bernie Sanders agrees with that either, because he quickly came out after this framework was announced by President Biden and said, you know, basically, we need to do more. We need more for the American people. We need stimulus checks for seniors. We need to fully expand Medicare to include dental, vision, and hearing care. And he's basically urging progressives in the House, because remember, Bernie Sanders works in the Senate. He's urging progressives in the House to hold strong and make sure that first we can fully approve the stimulus package in the Senate before they approve the physical stimulus plan in the House, if that kind of makes sense. We need Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin to fully approve the stimulus package in the Senate before we do the physical stimulus package in the House. Otherwise, we're going to lose all leverage to get stimulus checks, right? So let's quickly take a look and see exactly what Bernie Sanders said.
Let me just say a few words. Number one, I think before there is a vote in the House on the infrastructure bill, the members of the House have a right to know that 50 U.S. senators are supporting a strong reconciliation bill. Number two, I think if you look at the bill that the president announced today, it is probably the most consequential bill since the 1960s in terms of protecting the needs of working families, our children, the elderly, the sick, and the poor. It is a major, major step forward. But clearly, to my mind, it has some major gaps in it. The American people are very, very clear that they are sick and tired of paying the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. There is, to the best of my knowledge, no language in there that takes on the pharmaceutical industry, demands Medicare negotiating prices and lowers the cost of prescription drugs in America, and that's a major problem in the bill. The second lacking is, I'm glad to see that hearing aids were included as part of an expansion of Medicare, but I would very much like, the American people would like to see eyeglasses and dental care as well. So I think what we have to do now is, first of all, make sure that before the vote takes place in the House, to make sure that there is a very explicit legislative language, and second of all, that we continue to do our best to make this good bill even stronger.
Does it have your support right now, Senator Sanders?
Well, I'm going to do my best to make a good bill even stronger, so I can't answer that question.
Will you try to add more Medicare
Yeah.
into it?
There are a number of concerns. Paid family medical leave is also a great concern. But I'm glad that we were able to get hearing aids, which will have a real impact on millions of older people in America. But I think we've got to move forward to dental, as well as eyeglasses as well, and the cost of prescription drugs. Well, it is really outrageous that year after year, members of Congress talk about the high cost of prescription drugs, and yet year after year we are not able to do anything about it. So that's the other issue.
Do you think the House should pass?
Do you need from Senators Manchin and Sinema?
I don't need anything. They need, they are going to have to, the members of the House, in my view, are going to have an insurance. What we have said is, all of you know, from day one that both of these bills are linked. I support the infrastructure bill, but I want to see a strong Build Back Better bill as well, and they're linked together. So what you don't want to see is the infrastructure bill passed and then not have the kind of Build Back Better bill that we need, and that's why you need 50 members on board before there should be a vote, in my view, in the House.
Speaker Pelosi wants to hold that vote tonight. So will members of the House have that assurance?
I can't answer that. I honestly don't know.
So you're not on board with this framework as it's now drafted?
I
without
want to see it.
restricted language.
I want to see it improved. And again, I think it's important to state that if you look at what's in this bill, we are doing in this bill what has not been done in many, many decades in protecting the needs of working families, the children, our environment, climate change. It is really quite consequential, but I think it needs to be improved, and I'm going to do my best to improve.
What was your message to House progressives?
I just get it.
All right, Bernie Sanders, I'll be honest here, kind of seems a little defeated, right? Let me know in the comments if you agree. I mean, this man has been fighting for seniors for decades, right? He's been fighting to increase Social Security benefits and increase SSI, increase SSDI. Now he's fighting to include stimulus checks for seniors, include an expansion of Medicare to cover dental, vision, and hearing, include a law that will allow Medicare to lower prescription drug costs. He's fighting for all of this, and he's usually really, really high energy. But in this particular interview, I almost feel like he came off a little defeated. Like, don't get me wrong, I don't think he's giving up. I just feel like he is up against so much, and he's been fighting so hard for the American people. But now to see President Biden give this framework for the new stimulus package and take out vision, take out dental, not really solidify the fact that we will have $1,400 stimulus checks. It's just to see Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema have so much power to lower the size of this bill. Gosh, I mean, it's so frustrating. And Bernie Sanders said he's going to fight to include more. He's going to fight to include a bigger expansion of Medicare. He's going to fight to include stimulus checks for seniors. He didn't want to say he's not okay with the framework. He just said he wants to improve it. So he is fighting for more stimulus payments. Now, he also mentioned the fact that progressives in the House, remember, Bernie Sanders works in the Senate, progressives in the House should not vote to approve this physical stimulus plan to rebuild roads, bridges, and highways until they have an assurance that the stimulus package will pass in the Senate and making sure we have stimulus checks for seniors. So currently that's the plan, right? Progressives in the House are holding strong. They're not going to vote to approve the physical stimulus plan until the Build Back Better stimulus plan is first approved in the Senate, including Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, right? Now, progressives recently held an interview from the House talking about the fact that this is their plan. They're not going to approve the physical stimulus plan until the Build Back Better stimulus plan is first approved in the Senate. So that currently is their strategy to get stimulus checks done for seniors. So let's quickly take a look at this interview and see exactly what they had to say.
Let's bring in Congresswoman Cori Bush from Missouri. She is a member of the Progressive Caucus and a frequent guest and friend of the show. So I don't know if you were able to hear Susan Rice, Representative Bush, but I want to get your take because it feels like the progressives won today in that progressives held the line and said we are not going to vote for the infrastructure bill if we don't have the assurances that the Build Back Better bill is going to also pass, and that they're going to stay linked and stay together. In the end, were you prepared to vote against the infrastructure bill if it came to the floor?
Absolutely, and I made that very clear before I walked in the meeting this morning, the very first meeting where President Biden was there in that meeting. I walked in saying that I knew that if we didn't have both bills going together, that I would be a no, that would not change. And I want to see a Senate vote. I came out the same way that I went in, and I still stand firm, flat-footed right now, saying that if the infrastructure bill came to the floor, I would be an absolute no on it if it is not together with the Build Back Better Act. And the reason is, some have said, well, what about all the great things that are in it? And what I'm saying is we have to help the greatest number of people the quickest. And the way to do that is while we have the House, the Senate, and the White House, we need to make sure we get that done. And if we say that we're good with just helping helping some people when we know we can help more people, then that's an error on us. Our title is representative, so represent all the people.
Let me play for you what Senator Sanders said earlier today very quickly about that House vote that never ended up materializing. Here he is.
I think before there is a vote in the House on the infrastructure bill, the members of the House have a right to know that 50 U.S. senators are supporting a strong reconciliation bill.
He said 50 U.S. senators. That means Manchin and Sinema have to agree to the more than just a framework, my assumption is, to a bill. There's text of the bill out now. Do you trust Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema to not double-cross the Progressive Caucus on Build Back Better?
No, and I don't owe them my trust, and they don't owe me theirs. What moves me and what moves the people actually is the vote. So give us the vote. Let us see the vote. That's how we know where you stand, is by the vote. Now, if they want to get up and give a big press conference and say that, hey, we've looked at the text and we agree with the text, we're having this press conference to make sure that it's on the record, and we're just waiting for Senator Schumer to pass it, to the floor, get it to the floor, then okay, that's different. We could start a different conversation there. That's all I can say on that. But for me, it's not about trusting two people. It's about thinking about every single person in St. Louis that has reached out saying that, that $300, that child tax credit, how much that changed my household.
Okay, folks, so that's the plan as far as stimulus checks. Nancy Pelosi is trying to get progressives to approve the physical stimulus plan so we can get some progress going, but they are holding the line according to how they are putting it and saying, nope, in their opinion, if they approve the physical stimulus plan first, stimulus checks might go out the window, guys. So that currently is what's going on. Pelosi continues to pressure progressives to try and approve the physical stimulus plan first, but they are saying that first, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin have to approve stimulus checks in the Senate so we can have a guarantee that stimulus checks are going to get done. Now, with that said, we should have a lot of updates in the next couple of weeks, so don't forget to subscribe, and I will keep you posted as things develop on the next 2 stimulus checks, Social Security changes, and daily news updates as well. So thank you so much for watching, and until the next video, take care and have a great day.